to Resolution Partners podcast. I'm Athena.
I'm Scott.
And today we are going to be talking about the second natural law of the universe, which is the law of correspondence. I'm going to start it off, kick it back to Scott. He's going to take it away.
So the law of correspondence is something that I think a lot of you have heard of, not by that name, but what the actual law says. The law of correspondence is as above, so below, which you've heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second part, there are three parts to that, actually four, technically. The next part is as below, so above, okay?
Right.
So you're just,
right.
It's like, it's mirroring it. Because
Yes.
that's what we're
Yes.
going to talk about is something on me.
You had a little eyelash on your lip. I just wanted to grab it really quick.
Thank you. Taking care of each other. Look at that. So it's that mirror. It's reflecting back, right? So you have as above, so below, as above, as below, so above. I'm getting it mixed up. But there's another part to it, okay, that isn't really talked about, and that is as within, so without.
Mm-hmm.
So as without, so within.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, it's bringing that mirror aspect of things, the reflective aspect of things,
Right.
from both a longitudinal and horizontal framework. So
Right. So can you expand a little bit more on the longitude and and horizontal
sure.
lines?
Sure. Let's go back. Okay, so as above, so below. Let me ask you this question. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that phrase, as above, so below?
Well, I always think of what we have talked about, how if there's water below us and there's water above us.
Yeah, exactly. So what she's referring to is something that I grew up in a Christian background, and with the Holy Bible, okay, and something that it took me over 40 years to recognize. There was something in the very first book of the Bible, Genesis, and in the very first chapter, that helps you truly understand the nature of the universe. Okay, so this is something we're going to talk about, is how understanding the nature of the universe can help us understand ourselves, and vice versa, how understanding ourselves helps us understand the nature universe, and then even deeper than that is how coming to understand ourselves can help us come to understand the divine, or God.
Right, yeah.
And that you come to understand God through understanding yourself, like that phrase, know
as
thyself.
As within, as so without.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as above, so below. So in going back to the Bible and the first chapter in Genesis, it talks about how God separated the waters above from the waters below.
I didn't read the Bible, so I never knew that was in there.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't either. Like I had to read it probably, I don't know, 10, 15 times before it was like, it really sunk in. It's like, as,
right.
Water, there's water above us, just like there's water below us.
Yeah.
And the separating the waters above from the waters below means there has to be something in the middle, right? So
like a point of reference.
A point of reference, right? There's something in between the waters below, and there's something in between the waters above, which is us, right? Okay. So this is really deep stuff, and I didn't think we were going to go this deep, this far.
Oh, we are.
I mean, this.
Oh, we are.
Soon into the podcast, but it does really help you to change your framework of mind, how to look at the world differently, how to look at yourselves differently. If you think about as above, so below in that way, but also bringing it back to us, where do we fit into that? What is the majority of the substance that we're made out of? What is that substance that we're made out of as human beings?
Energy?
No, like a tangible substance.
Oh, a tangible substance?
Water.
Right. I was like, I don't know, skin.
We're made up of 70% water, right?
Right, yeah. 60-70% were water,
right.
yeah.
And the earth itself, what is the predominant
Water.
element, right?
Water.
Water. It's about the same amount, right?
No, it is.
Yeah. So in itself, we are a microcosm
And
of the macrocosm, which really goes back to as above, so below, as within, so without. Is we ourselves are microcosms of the macrocosm. Okay. So when you think about, let's go back to the significance of that. If you think about, hey, I am the microcosm of the macrocosm, okay, and the macrocosm itself is beyond description and comprehension and powerful and beautiful and amazing and wondrous. How does that make you feel about yourself?
Pretty damn amazing.
Pretty damn amazing, yeah. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So have you been taught to, let me ask you this question. Have you been taught to believe that?
I was traumatized in my life, so I come from a very abusive home, so no.
Okay. This is very true.
I don't think this is a fair...
You may not be the best
No.
example. However, let's bring it to a broader perspective. How has that perspective been on the human race?
Oh, nobody really is taught to love themselves. They're all taught that they need to be something different. I mean, look at society.
Yeah.
Everybody, unfortunately, most people do hate themselves. And you're not taught to love on yourself. You're not taught to see yourself as anything less than, you know. We see all the winners, right? And we're just always blinded by them, you know.
Yeah. So, let's talk about something on a level that you can really relate to. So, if you think of the as above, so below, in a vertical straight line, what does that represent in our body?
Well, the chakra system.
Okay.
The 7 chakras, at least, because there's hundreds and hundreds inside of your body, but the 7 mains that we focus on are in a vertical line down our Sushumna, which is your spinal column.
Yeah. Okay. So expand on that just a little bit. What is the purpose of that system? What does it do to you? How does that connect your, let's say, the as above, so below, your base foundational spirit, like physical to
chakra,
the spiritual?
You know, connects and represents a different element. Like earth, ether, you know, water, fire, you know, different elements inside of our body, which we all have outside of our body as well. Yeah. They're in a line, you know, the earth, their root, or the Muladhara chakra is at the bottom. So it's your base. Then you have your water right above that. You know, you have to have earth underneath water. And then above that you have Mani Buddha, which is fire. Yeah. Then you have the middle reference point, which is your Anahata, your heart. Yeah. Then you move up and you have Vishuddha, which is your throat, and that is still connected to ether. Okay. And then you have your right up here between your eyebrows, you have Ajni, which is your third eye. And then you have Svadhisthana. Wow, I said that so wrong, but anyways, it's your crown chakra.
I know what you mean, yeah.
And those top 3 are all connected with ether.
And so as you work through that, the chakras, and you, let's see here, allow the flow of energy to go from the bottom, up to the top, and back down, and just continue that cycle, how does that make you feel as a human being? What is that?
A lot more alive, much more connected, safe. Yeah. At peace.
More connected to the divine.
More connected to the divine, more connected to myself, just connected to life in general.
Yeah, I love that. And that's the beauty of understanding as above, so below. But more than that, it's understanding that you are a microcosm of the macrocosm, okay? So I'm going to take things a bit deeper.
I love it. I was really hoping you were going to.
Okay, so you mentioned like the water and then the earth, the elements, right? Yeah. These are the elements, right? So earth, when you said earth, you meant the element of earth.
Yes.
Which is like dirt and something of substance, right? Okay. So as you work your way up the chakras, then let's just say the 7 main chakras, right?
It's like your roots.
Right? There are more chakras than 7, right?
Yes.
So, but let's talk about just the main 7 chakras, right? There are 7 of them. So in the middle of 7, right? The middle chakra is the heart chakra. Anahata, right? Known as the heart chakra. Okay. So I'm going to take a slight tangent, but I'm going to bring it all together. So I can never say her name right, but it is like Anin, I think. I probably slaughtered it. But
okay,
anyway.
Well, I'm horrible with names, so don't ask me.
She said, just kind of paraphrasing her, that we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are.
Yes.
Okay. So bringing it as above, so below, as within, so without, right? That's how we view the world, by who we are. So the key thing is to understand into creating a better world, a better view of the world, right? Is to have a better view and belief about ourselves.
Yes.
Okay. And understanding who we really are. Okay. So.
Well, and that really is perfect with your nervous system and how trauma works, actually. That's what that reminded me of. You know? All those, when you have experienced trauma, you have a hard time seeing you perceive things differently, right?
Yeah.
And so until you get to know yourself, you're going to be perceiving threats that aren't necessarily there.
True.
And it's the same kind of thing, you know, like if you don't really know yourself, then how can you actually know God?
Exactly. Here's something very important to that. One thing that I'm going to say they, but I'm just going to say those who write history, those who promote a certain viewpoint of history that has
very
been biased and promulgated and spread throughout recent decades and last 100 years or whatever. Okay, to get us to believe that we are insignificant, that we don't matter.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is something they've done. They've used an analogy, and you've probably seen this before, and we may have already talked about this. But you see a meme of a galaxy, and it's huge, and there's a massive amount of stars and lights and whatever. And then it has this little speck over in the corner that says, "You are here."
Yes.
You don't matter.
Exactly. I've always hated those.
Yeah, but guess what? What they've hidden from us is that we do matter. That, when I say something very controversial, there is a viewpoint that this sun is at the center of everything.
Right.
Of the universe.
Okay.
That we're over way.
So it's, right, and the sun is in the center.
Right.
Right.
But the ancient people believed and knew that the earth was at the center of the universe. That the planets and the stars and the sun and moon rotated and moved around us. Right? And you can see that every night as you see the stars.
Yeah.
You are not moving, but they are. Okay? So they've hidden that from us. But if you look at something that's really cool, Earth, we are on planet Earth, right? Plane, we'll come to that in a minute. What a plane means, right?
It's like an airplane or a plane.
Well, they're spelled the same way.
I know, but I want to make sure we were talking about the same
planes of existence. Right?
Okay, there we go.
The planet, right, comes from the plane, right?
Yes.
Okay, the root there, it's plane. So, if you look at Earth, planet Earth, EARTH, right? Earth is just an anagram for heart.
Yeah, all the same letters.
So if you go back to our central channel, the 7 chakras, what is at the center?
Your heart.
The heart, Anahata chakra. Exactly. So this is something that you need to understand about who you are. If you can see yourself as somebody that really matters, that the entire universe, that the entire system was built, designed, and created for you to see, right? There, you know that song, we've heard it many times, Saturn by Sleeping at Last.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a part in the song that says that the universe was created. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember right now.
That's okay.
I'm a little nervous.
It's okay.
But it's basically that the universe was created just for you to see, right? Right. Going back to last episode, and how the universe is mental, like that we are a projection of God, right? That what we see is something that is a mental projection.
So what we see is God and everything.
Exactly. So that was created for us by the divine, for us to see, because we are divine in itself, right? And so...
And that also just makes a lot of sense, because everything is God, you know what I mean? So you're obviously meant to see it, because we're all the same thing. Plants, animals, the world, everything, solar system.
Yeah, exactly. The system
so of
itself.
Course it's so obvious, painfully obvious, that we were supposed to see it, and yet it remains so hidden.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's painfully obvious that we were meant to see it.
It is painfully obvious. So let's extend that a little further. So if you were to go back to it, as above, so below, water's above, water's below. If you go out on a lake, for example, okay, the still of the night, and the water is completely still, what do you see in the water?
The reflection.
The reflection of
what? The moon.
The moon.
And the stars.
And the stars, right? There are some places in this, on this earth, one I think is Bolivia salt flats, to where you may have seen pictures of them.
Yes,
where
absolutely.
The water level is flat. That's important. Straight. It's a plane.
Okay.
And then because of that, it's a reflection, a direct reflection above. You can't really tell. It looks like...
Yeah, it looks the same. It
looks the exact same. It's a mirror, right? That's a perfect example of that, as above, so below. So let's come back to that. So the plane, the definition of a plane, Plane, right? Plane of existence. It is a straight line. It is a straight line, okay? So if planes of existence are straight lines, what does that what does that say about the plane that we are on right now?
It's a straight line.
It's a straight line, right?
And those straight lines would be either the vertical or the horizontal.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay. So exactly, vertical and horizontal, right? Okay. Yeah. So as above, so below is the vertical. As within, so without is the horizontal.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So another cool thing, bringing it back to the microcosm, which is our physical bodies, right? If you were to stand up, okay, you would stand up straight, you would have that horizontal line, right? As above, the crown, as below, right? That's where we're at. And then you were to extend your arms out. Okay, that's the horizontal line, right? What's in the center?
Well, again, your anahata.
Yeah, your heart. Bring it right there. Okay, so going back to symbology, I'm totally going with the flow of things. I don't know the direction I'm going.
I think you're doing amazing, so just keep going.
Okay, so let's bring it back to a religious, spiritual context. Okay. If you're standing straight up and your arms are extended, what does that look like?
Well, it always has reminded me, and this is going to be so far off from where you're going with this, so I am so sorry, but that always reminds me of a scene in Harry Potter in the third, where they're learning about werewolves, but they're not supposed to. Turn to page 394, and there's a picture of a werewolf, and he's standing just like that with his arms up.
That wasn't where I was going.
I know, you said tell me what you think of.
That's good though. Okay. She loves Harry Potter, so that makes sense.
And then when I saw that on a book, but it was for what we're talking about, I was very confused. I was like, what is Harry Potter doing here? Why are you talking about werewolves?
Right. I get it. And I welcome that, right? So,
I know.
Yeah, I asked you a straightforward question.
You did. You got an answer.
Yeah, I got an answer. Okay, so what... Let me rephrase the question a different way. What does it look like? What is the shape? If it's standing tall, somewhere up, you have a cross. I just said it. You have a horizontal line.
A cross. Yes. Okay.
It's a cross.
I understand. Yes. Right. We're doing religious. Okay.
Yeah. It's a
cross. The cross.
Right. And right in the center of the cross
is your heart.
Your heart. Right. Have you ever noticed pictures of some pictures of Jesus, right? It's got like this heart coming out and it's burning, right?
I haven't, but
It,
that
it
sounds really cool.
it's in a lot of I would say like Catholic
Mm.
depictions,
Okay.
artist depictions of Jesus, right? There's like this burning heart, right?
That's really cool.
And one thing that has been talked about is if you want to know God, connect with your heart,
Right.
right?
Yes.
That is, and we'll just say the cave of the heart, for
Mm-hmm.
example. Mm,
Yes, Alec. Shout out
Alec,
to
Alec,
Alec.
spiritual teacher of ours, amazing man. Um, tell us all briefly about the cave of the heart, what that is, why it's important.
Cave of the heart is where your soul actually lives. Um, so when you connect in to your Anahata chakra and you're connecting into that deep cave of all knowing, of complete consciousness, a lot of people, I really think that your consciousness and energy and the soul all live up in your head because those are the two chakras that are usually talked about with energy and God and all that, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
crown, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
However, that's actually inaccurate. Your soul is, and all that consciousness is actually inside of your heart. So when you are practicing, I practice yoga and I teach yoga. And when this is why, when you are practicing, you want to, of course, you want to purify your chakras and connect to them and get that energy flowing up and down. However, at the end, you're supposed to bring energy from up
Mm-hmm.
and below in to your heart
Into
chakra,
your heart chakra, yes.
so you can connect to your soul, which is pure consciousness.
Yeah.
And that is where your cave of your heart is.
Beautiful, beautifully explained, and so important, right? So many of us can't sit within ourselves, can't sit and sit, period. We get so distracted, and we want to, just looking at our kids, right? They can't sit still, right?
Yeah.
But that being able to be in a place of stillness to where we can bring all of that, as you said, bring all that energy back in, meet at the intersection, and pour all of that energy in. Mm-hmm. And that creates a sort of expansion.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Exactly. If you really want to expand, or New Age spirituality talks about expansion, evolving, evolve.
Yeah.
And they think that means, okay, well then I need to get this energy going out the top of my head. However, that's not true. And you don't want to do that because you need your energy.
So you're
supposed to bring it back into your heart.
Yes.
And expand. And that is actually how expansion takes place. All the expansion and evolution you want, that New Ageism is trying to tell you comes through your head, it comes from your heart. You will expand so much farther if you come to your heart.
So then as you bring in that energy back in and you push it through up.
No, you don't push it through up, it expands outwards.
Okay. But that's true. As within, so without, that makes sense. But what I'm saying is that energy, it's like a continuous flow. It feeds back into itself.
Exactly.
And as you feed that back into itself, and it creates like this apple looking thing that's going through the core. This is an important aspect of it too, of understanding who we really are, what the universe is, understand the macrocosm to the microcosm. Mm-hmm. So that is represented as a torus field.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is something I didn't understand either. It's been, the last few years I've come to understand, more than that, probably like 5 years, that I've come to understand what torus fields are, right? And if you think of a torus field as your energy field, which is exactly what it is, for those of us in the spiritual world who understand energy, it's easy to understand what a torus field is, right?
Yes.
So that is how the universe works itself, right? Mm-hmm. Everything in existence is a torus field.
Yes.
Down to the cells in our bodies. They're all, our DNA structure, that's a perfect example. They're all torus fields, right?
Yeah, they do. It looks just like a torus field. And also the DNA strand looks like the law of gender, the Ingala Pingala.
Yeah,
Those two. It looks
exactly.
just like that.
Just
and it's
like
all
that.
here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Expanding
exactly.
out. They all connect.
Exactly. So understanding that is an important aspect to understanding what the macrocosm, the as above, so below, bring it back to who we are.
Mm-hmm.
What are we made of, right? What
Right.
is this? Okay. So the importance of understanding that leads us to understanding not only how torus fields work, but what is the different energies that are connected with the as above, so
Mm-hmm.
below, and how the universe works itself. So we're not going to go too deep into this, but I wanted to talk about something in understanding what we are made of and who we
Mm-hmm.
really are, right? There is there are a lot of people that come and understand this. You know, Nikola Tesla was one
Yeah.
a long time ago. There are other people like Walter Russell who understand this. Modern day people like Faraday and I can't think right now. I've lost their
That's
names
okay.
right now. But anyway, is that the universe is run by electromagnetism,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we are run by electromagnetism as
Yes.
well. That we are electromagnetic beings.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people tend to just recognize the electric, right? We are electric beings,
Yes.
right? And that's something that you can physically see, like a light.
Yeah.
Right? That's, electricity creates something physical,
Mm-hmm.
something that is tangible. And the other part of that most people don't understand is magnetism.
Mm-hmm.
Magnetism is invisible. Magnetism is spiritual in
Mm-hmm.
nature. It's not physical.
Will you expand on that though? How it's spiritual in nature, not physical?
So one thing that I've come to understand, and again, I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but I'm just going to briefly say this.
Okay.
So there have been people who have taught that magnetism is the mother of electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, magnetism is spirit, electricity is physical. So why do you think, let me ask you this question because it ties back into almost everything. Why do you think they would hide magnetism, the mother of electricity, the spirit? If you go back to the Trinity, which we talked about, which is, mind, spirit, and body. The spirit represents
Yes.
feminine. Why do you think they would do that?
Well, because it's powerful. It's the most powerful force, and they want it for themselves.
Yeah.
They don't want us to have access to that.
Yeah. What is the importance of having access to magnetism, the spiritual nature?
Well, you come to know everything.
Okay.
All of the propagandas and lies that we've been fed all of a sudden fall away.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you can become the very best destined version of yourself, and your life completely changes.
Yeah. So when you think of being a magnet,
Their facade falls.
Their facade falls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All important stuff. And to bring it a step further, what is a magnet? What is a magnet? What does it do?
Attracts.
Attracts. Okay. So this
Or
is
repels.
or repels, right? But the law of attraction is something that a lot of people are coming to understand. And from a New Age perspective, what is the law of attraction?
Where you essentially want something bad enough, so you manifest it and it comes to you. You attract it in through your vibration.
Okay, through your vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Essentially. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay. Through the vibration, but using your thoughts, right?
Yes, exactly. You use your thoughts, you visualize,
Okay. So one thing that people don't tend to understand is that vibration is at the end of I'll just say a longitudinal pulse, right? It's at the very end. What's at the beginning is magnetism. Yes. So being able to connect to something on a spiritual level first, and then having that go out and then create that vibration, right? That's what brings it back
but you have to connect to the magnetism before you connect to the vibration.
Exactly. Which is magnetism we just talked about is spiritual. Magnetism is spiritual, invisible in nature, right? So connecting this all to the spiritual laws, natural laws, right? and law of attraction, I think so many people get caught up in materialism, the physical aspect of things, electricity, for example, right?
Yes.
And neglecting the, well, I'll just say, the physical nature has sort of a masculine type of a connotation to it.
Well, more than just that, there's so many things at play with the real law of attraction that New Ageism is just glossing over, and just kind of putting it away. Let's put that in the corner and let's not talk about that. Well, a lot of it is a lot of victim shaming. They're like, oh, well, obviously you're not doing a good job manifesting. You don't want it bad enough. You, whatever. Well, look at you. You're doing everything wrong. You're trying to think of what else I've heard other than just, you're doing it wrong. You don't want it bad enough. You're manifesting negative things into your life, all that crap. That is just a scare tactic, and it's not real. Because magnetism, like you said, it's a spiritual element, which means it's of God. And with God, there's things called destiny and fate and timing and karma. So if your quote-unquote blessings are being quote-unquote denied, that is not true. It's not true that you're doing it wrong. It's just, there's other things at play here. There's timing and 4 different karmas that you need to be working through. And also, is it a part of your destiny, your dharma, and your fate? Because God might delay, but he never denies. So the wrong aspect is telling people that you're not doing good enough.
You're not vibrating in a certain frequency.
Exactly, you're not vibrating high enough. Yeah. You're not having positive thoughts. You're bringing in the bad stuff. But that's just not true. That's not how magnetism or manifestation or the law of attraction works.
Right. So let's think of it this way. I mean, first of all, that was a beautiful explanation. So if you look at a waveform, right? Okay, so you have a straight line all the way through, and then you have an up and down, right?
That
cycle.
Yes,
right?
I do. Yeah, the spiral.
The spiral, right? And that represents frequency vibration, right? But what people, they tend to focus on that, but what they tend to forget is something that has always been there.
The straight
that is
line.
constant, that straight line. And that is magnetism.
Yes.
That is creating a spiritual foundation to where you connect with all of those things, that you allow all of those things that are eternal in nature to come in. Because here's the thing, vibration, right, that's going to fluctuate. That's not going to stay the same.
No, and it's impossible for it to stay the same.
Right.
And it's not supposed to.
Right. Electricity is finite, right? So this light over here.
Yeah.
Over time, that bulb is going to burn out and die, right?
Exactly. It's what happens.
It's what happens, right? But magnetism is always there. It's a constant thing.
Yeah.
And so tapping into that particular energy and such a spiritual nature, something that is infinite, is going to help in that steady line all the way across, is going to help you, just as you said, God may delay, but he won't deny, right?
And if you're not getting exactly what you're manifesting, well, guess what? There's something better for you coming.
Exactly, right. As long as you maintain that line and go all the way to the end, whatever that process is, whatever that timeline is, right?
Yes, exactly. And you don't get to choose your timeline.
You don't get to.
All that. I quantum leapt. No, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
It's God. You're on God's timeline. Sorry, baby. You're not on your own timeline. You don't get to choose that.
Exactly. So that's important to have that spiritual foundation. And going back to natural laws, the overarching natural law is do no harm. Okay? So I think bringing it, you and I both have a lot to talk about and have many thoughts and viewpoints when it comes to New Ageism and New Age views on the law of attraction, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so I've often thought of the question, okay, well, how come the law of attraction that is being taught in New Ages and works for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
And it is going to work.
Yeah.
But I see it now. I'm coming to see it now as a temporary thing. You're using the mental, you're focusing on the physical, and you may get that, but that's not going to last.
No, it collapses.
It collapses over time, right? If you're not building that spiritual foundation.
Exactly.
If your intent is not pure, right? And coming back to what we talked about earlier is having that pure intention. I can't remember exactly what we said in regards to pure. Do you remember that? Before we started this.
Yes. Well, I was talking about how to get to that magnetism.
Yeah. Okay. Which was, remind me again.
So we were talking about attracting, right? Yeah. And the straight line of magnetism.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, well, we should probably give them a foundation of, okay, well, how do you magnetize then?
Yeah.
And again, this is coming from my yogic perspective, because that's what I do. And that would be through purification, a purification process where you purify your mind, your body, your spirit, your emotions, your different energetic bodies. You purify them. You purify your karmas. You purify everything so that you can, move into your destiny, your fate.
Yeah.
And then that is what's going to become the magnet. And once you have that sustained, like we were talking about, your spiritual foundation sustained, where you have done that purification process, then you can magnetize it in, and it's going to stay. It's not going to be collapsing all the time. Of course, you'll have dips because life happens, but you're going to be able to really take off running.
Yeah,
because you have that sustained.
Yeah. So, bringing it into a more personal level, there have been. I've only focused on the material side of things, right? When it comes to the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what's shown the most.
That's what's shown the most, and that's I would say the number one reason why people do it is for financial abundance.
Yeah.
But as I've taken a step back and look at what I have brought into my life by trying to become more pure in my practice and my thoughts and my all of what you just mentioned, I brought in so much abundance that is in the betterment of my soul, that is infinitely important and beneficial.
My first thought of that for my own experience is what I have brought in would be you. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. See, it's stuff like that, right? Yes, we have a physical, tangible relationship, but that connection is much deeper than that.
Exactly.
Right? And so that I think is important to see. Just because you're not seeing the financial
doesn't mean it's not working.
Doesn't mean it's not working.
Doesn't mean you're not getting anything.
No, exactly. And if you think about it on a deeper level.
And also, if that is what you're chasing, and that's what you're trying to attract, but I say chase, if that's really what you're trying to attract in for your happiness, then your happiness is going to be very short-lived. Money comes and money goes. Financial blows happen,
Yeah.
Why would you want to pursue that when you should be pursuing your own contentment and peace with life, and then let all the pieces continue to fall into place as they need to on God's timing, in line with your destiny and your fate, so then it's sustainable.
Right. So tapping into that, the as above, so below, as within, so without, like if it really is a mirror and a reflection, then I think being able to, number one, I think the most important thing is to realize who you really are, as we've mentioned. Tap into all of that, right? And then have it. It's kind of like that ripple effect, right? When you drop a stone in, let's say a large stone, in the middle of a lake, and it ripples out, and then it tends to ripple back, right? Okay, so that sort of thing too is where you are.
It's a perfect analogy for it.
Yeah. So where you're recognizing, the stone that you're dropping is the pure intent. I want to grow and expand spiritually. I want to connect to what God is. I want to connect with who I am. I want to
connect to the blessing that God has in store for you.
Exactly. I want to connect to the
they're
peace.
They're infinitely more abundant than what your human mind thinks you want.
Yeah. I want to connect to that peace and contentment, or whatever, inside. I believe myself to be an amazing person. I love myself, right? I believe I am love. to be able to expand that to where it reaches out to the as far as it can, touches that, comes right back. I think that is the real way to implement and embody the law of attraction, because I believe you can become prosperous.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen it happen plenty of times. You do.
But I also see, more importantly, that you can be a spiritually conscious being who attracts all sorts of prosperity.
Exactly.
Money being, financial being one of them. And that as that be your goal, instead of, how much money do I have in my bank account?
Yeah.
Because, as we said before, that is finite. The infinite is realizing who you are. We are not God, right? That's something we talked about.
Yes, we're not. And there is a distinction there. Oh my gosh, children.
Go for it. Just keep.
Harper, not right now, baby.
It's me.
It's you, Jaden. Not right now, honey. So go outside.
Okay, coming back to it. So where... I just lost my train of thought.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
He wasn't going to stop knocking.
That's okay. Okay, yeah, we were talking about we are not God.
Yes, we're not God. There's a distinction. Like, yes, we are the microcosm and the macrocosm, but we're not God, Yeah. And honestly, any attraction that you think is coming from yourself while you're shouting, I am God, isn't actually you.
No, it's not. It's coming
from God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So along with that is the, coming from an egoic nature, right? Of I am God.
I'm the powerful one. I am all powerful. I do all of this.
Yeah.
Just remember, God can bestow your blessings. He can also he or she can also take those away.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Like, it's that mirror. So if you have this,
it's like, okay,
selfish nature.
Trying to explain this on my Instagram one day, but it's like throughout history, when you see the goddesses, how are they depicted? The hunters, the gatherers, the protectors, the crafters, all of that, right? They are literally every tangible and creative force of nature, right? And when you look through stories, like even in the Vedas, it is the goddesses, that feminine energy that holds the power. The gods have to ask for power from the goddesses. And if they do not wield that responsibly, guess what? That goddess gets to take it right back away from you or them.
Yeah.
And it's the same type of a thing, if you're not using the gifts that you've been given, responsibly. Sure, maybe in this life the karma doesn't come, but at some point it's going to catch up to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's why it's important to
have your intentions set.
Exactly.
And love.
Keep going. I need to drink water.
No, that's really all I was going to say about it. I know
I just had an itch in my throat.
You're doing a lot of talking this time.
Yeah. So
perfect.
Thank you. So bringing it back to as above, so below, right? The law of correspondence, or the principle of correspondence, right? So there is so much more to talk about in this, and so much that I don't know that I want to know, to understand, so I can fully know how to embody that, right? So that could be probably 2 or 3 podcast episodes alone.
Absolutely.
Right?
We'll have to circle back to it.
Right. We can do that. But what I'm trying to say is coming to understand who we are, coming to understand the true nature of who we are, coming to understand the true nature of the universe, of the physical world that we live in. That is key to understanding what the law of correspondence is, and how it can be applied and how that can benefit our lives, right? So I see all the reasons now why they have kept all these things hidden for so long. Why
is that?
Because understanding that helps us tap into the powerful beings that we are. Again, we're not God.
No, but we are more powerful than they want you to believe.
We are part of the divine, right? the all in the all.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is in the all. And we are more powerful
than they want you to believe.
Then,
it's like, it reminds me of that sculpture that we've all seen. Well, hopefully we've all seen. I've seen it, where you have the elitists standing up on top of the chessboard, and underneath it is all of us little people. And they want you there, right? You're holding them up. You're holding all of the weight. You're getting screwed over. But if they all leave, then guess what? The board crumbles. Their game ends because there's more of us than there are of them.
Exactly.
So they are very afraid of all of us.
They are very afraid.
This is why they don't want us to have this information.
This is why they kept it hidden. And this is why they
want to keep you in these cycles of confusion and anguish and pain so that you stay playing their game.
Yeah, exactly. In the endless suffering, the endless distractions they throw your way,
yep.
right? The endless divisions.
Exactly.
All of that stuff. And this helps me understand the bigger picture. So I'm not going to go into detail on this because it's very controversial because it makes people question everything they've ever been taught, which I think is important, but I don't want to go down that road right now.
Ease people into that.
But and B, because we don't have the time to do that.
No, we don't.
But the narrative that they've given us since we were babies about what the universe is, what this world is not true. Yeah. And I've always, as I've shared this information in depth with people, they always ask the question, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Right? And my first response was coming from a Christian background is, they're hiding God, or they're hiding the fact, they're trying to pull people away from Jesus, right? But in reality, yeah, they are hiding the true nature of what the divine is, but also hiding the true nature of who we are. Going back to your thing, your comment about all we have to do is stand up.
Yeah,
they're afraid of us.
Absolutely.
So if you can get people to believe something that isn't true,
which is why
takes
they
you far away.
The division and the distractions and the fear.
Yeah,
they want to keep you there, obviously.
Right. And then pulling it back to as above, so below, right? What a lot of people don't know is that the entire universe, the entire galaxy, all of that is within you. The as above, so below, the water above, water below, all of the elements, all of the stars, all of the planets, which are really just wandering stars. That's the Greek definition of planets, right? Just wandering stars, which stars are light, and spiritual in nature and not physical. All of that resides inside of you. So everything that you see in the outside world, as above, so below, as within, so without. My sound like it's doing something. But it's all there. We have everything. We have the entire universe inside of us. We are a universe itself, as part of the universe as a whole. Is that?
Yeah, no, it's making complete sense. I just love listening to you talk about it.
So
this almost feels like a really cool therapy session.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. I like that.
Just reminding you guys, and myself, how absolutely amazing we are.
As human beings, we are, right? Beings, right? So that's why
Yes, beings. I love that.
Beings, yeah. That's why the second natural law principle is so important. Yeah. The law of correspondence, right? Correspond. Didn't even think about that. Correspond. Like if you think about it in our world, when you correspond with somebody, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You're communicating with somebody.
Right. Okay.
So law of correspondence, as above, so below. We're communicating with the divine, which is really
communicating with us,
with ourselves, bringing it right back into the heart and the Anahata chakra, right?
Beautiful.
Because that's where our real soul resides. This is why it's so important to realize the intersection, the center of everything is within the heart. Jesus said that the kingdom of God is within. Right?
Yeah. And that's been twisted in some crazy ways, but literally it just translates, means inside of you.
It's inside of you. Connect to
It's
what's
within
inside
you.
of you.
It's in your heart.
Exactly.
Why do you think he preached so much love?
Yeah.
Because he knew about the intersection. It's all within you.
Some people have said the highest vibration is love. The highest frequency is love.
Because it is.
So where is love? Where do we know love from? Where does the symbol?
If you want to know universal love, love of every type, unconditional love, it resides within your heart.
Within your heart, right? Within the center.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've shared a lot today. I really could talk about this forever.
I know, I love it.
And I could go deeper, but
we'll have to circle back to this law for sure.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to it. But I think this was a really beautiful episode. I feel like we're leaving it on a very loving note for people. Just reminding everybody how incredible they are.
Yeah, I agree.
Connecting back to their hearts, bringing your energy back to your heart, to the cave of your heart.
Exactly.
Your soul. Communicating with your own soul to communicate with the divine.
So take this information, connect to the cave of your heart, tap into your soul, tap into your higher self, feel that love, and then as you feel it within, extend it out into the world. Expand it to the world. Because the world is not as it is, but who we are. So if you think about how you can change the world, it starts with you. It starts with yourself. And being that love and that compassion and that power within, and then sharing it outside of you, that's what's going to change the world. So
that was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And thank you for listening and or watching. And we will see you next week. And I'm spacing the third principle right now.
Me too, but
I can't think of it right now. But we're going to come back to that one. All of these principles are amazing, leading one after another through the
corresponding
process. Corresponding them, connecting them all. So thank you for listening.
We'll see you next
week.
Take care. Bye.